Mira, cabrón, ¿cómo tú me vas a matar?
Moving. Hostile UAV overhead.
No, you're trash.
Only
So.
25 left.
Moving here.
Ah, a shotgun though, bro.
How's it going, vaqueros? It's been a while. If you notice I'm sounding different, it's because I just got over COVID and that shit sucked so much, and I do not wish that on anyone. So I'm kind of getting over it. I'm about 90% of the way there. I'm just very congested, as you can probably hear. It was not a fun ride, but I'm going to get back into making videos slowly but surely. And so what I want to do with today's video is cover the Masterkey shotgun, or I think the deputy shotgun attachment for a lot of the assault rifles that we have, because this thing has been requested for a while now in Warzone. And I gotta tell you, it's actually pretty damn good, and I enjoy using it because it's like a little pocket shotgun attached to your rifle, which is actually really nice. And despite it being kind of quirky and you might be better off with some sort of recoil reducing attachment, this thing actually does have some use to it. It does have some viability, and it's just freaking hilarious. I mean, come on, it's just so fun to just take people off guard and equipping this little side barrel shotgun and just blowing them away in a shot. It's kind of hilarious. So what I want to do is go over this thing, how useful it is, and kind of show you guys what it's capable in the gameplay that you'll be seeing. So with all that out of the way, let's just get to the video. So the first thing you're probably wondering is how good this thing is when it comes to its damage, because this thing is basically a pocket shotgun. They don't want it to be too strong, but to be fair, it does have to be useful to some degree, and this thing definitely is. So I went into private match and I went ahead and measured the ranges and sort of the damage you could get, and out to about that 2.6 meter range, I was getting about 200 damage per shot. Now 200 damage, that's basically the equivalent of a pump action. I mean, you're dealing about as much damage as the Brysons do in normal Warzone, granted without Dragon's Breath. So out to that 2.6 range, you can one-shot players who only have 2 plates of armor, and you can down people in 2 shots pretty effectively. Now out to about 5.1 meters, that's where you're going to deal around 140 damage. So you might be noticing that that is still a 2-shot kill, because 140 times 2, that's about 280 if you're math inclined, which means you can 2-tap a 250 health player. So out to about 5.1 meters, that is where your 2-shot range is going to be with this gun. Now out to about the 9.5-ish mark, I'm only going out there, I'm not going any further because it's pointless. You'll deal about 100 damage, so it'll be a 3-shot kill. So again, not really too shabby, considering you're dealing about as much damage as a Bryson. Man, this thing is no joke. It really is not, and it actually does, like I said, have some pretty good utility to it. Now, there are a few things that do hold it back. Obviously, it only has 4 rounds. That is a big no-no, and this thing has a very, very slow reload. So what I found myself doing in a lot of situations was I was getting like kind of the surprise on one person, getting them with a 2-shot down, or maybe even taking a 3rd shot to kill them when they're downed, and then another guy would come around the corner in like trios or quads, and I would try to reload and I just couldn't get it in quick enough, so I'd have to switch to another gun, and during that time, of course, I died. So this thing is way better off as being sort of a kind of backup, where like you run around cover, they're not expecting you, you barely have any plates, it's sort of like your last resort, and you just blast them with 2 shots, and it's so much fun to do. Now, I want to point out the rate of fire is around that 130-ish rounds per minute mark. It's going to feel slightly faster than the base Expedite 12, which is like 127 RPM, I think, but it is going to feel a lot slower than that faster fire Expedite 12 L-Bolt, which is like 150 RPM. So you can kind of do the math. Your time to kill essentially becomes close to a half a second. So it's around that like 450 millisecond to like 500 millisecond mark, which is actually pretty good. Again, this is one of those things where you don't want to really be caught in a one-on-one gunfight. You're going to have to maneuver a little bit, maybe play cat and mouse with this. It is possible. It's just you're really asking for trouble if you just sort of slide into someone and kind of hope to get your shots off a little bit faster. That's just kind of a no-no. That's just how it is with these sort of slower firing pump actions or shotguns in general. Another important thing to note is this thing does take shotgun ammo. So do be picking up shotgun ammo if you plan on using this, which I do recommend. It is a lot of fun, so I do recommend trying it out. As for some other kind of interesting things about it, back when I tested this for multiplayer, what I found was that even if you have a really slow assault rifle that was just kind of obnoxiously slow with all these attachments on it, the moment that you switch to your deputy attachment, it kind of seems to forget. Like the game seems to forget that you have all these attachments on and you run at your normal speed. So basically what the base gun would be like, although it seems like a lot of the other guns, for the assault rifles at least, you kind of run the same speed with this thing attached no matter what. So if you have a really, really heavy heavy assault rifle with a really bad movement speed, you can just swap to this, even though it's kind of bad for, you know, being out in the open to run with this thing. You can swap to this and you're going to be a lot faster than you would if you were just running around with all those crazy attachments that are slowing you down. So it's a nice little trick to keep in mind if you do want to use this thing. As far as any other sort of secret things about it, I can't really find anything else. I know you can tune this attachment to get more damage range, and it's not going to be that much more. You're probably talking maybe about the 5.5 meter mark for that 2-shot range, or maybe even like 2.8 meters or so for that sort of really high 200 damage marker. But honestly, it is worth it. Go ahead and tune it if you want. It's not a huge deal. Just go ahead and tune it for damage range. And I found that this thing, like I said, is a lot of fun. And the cool thing about it is I did actually find some use in this because I could rock an awesome TAC 56 build, maybe swap out one of the recoil reducing attachments since it's already kind of a laser and just use the underbarrel shotgun instead. And like I said, it's a lot of fun when you kind of catch people off guard with it and they think you have a shotgun and then they see your kill cam and you're like, oh, well, never mind. Because I don't think I've seen anybody use this thing in Warzone. It's always been, well, just some sort of assault rifle or SMG. They don't really even bother putting this thing on it. And it does look funny, but it is pretty useful, like I said. So I really recommend giving this a shot, if not just to break up the monotony of the game. We're getting at another point where I'm just kind of bored of the game. I'm definitely bored of multiplayer. Asika Islands kept my interest just a slight bit. And things like this are just things that I live for. I love finding these weird, quirky things, especially related to shotguns. So alright guys, that is just about going to do it for the Deputy Shotgun attachment. I love that this thing is called the Deputy attachment. It just makes me think of the Wild West, like I'm a deputy or a sheriff or something. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something from this video. I hope you guys go and give it a shot because like I said, it is a lot of fun. It is hella fun to blast people with this thing. So let me know what you think of this attachment below in the comments. Is there another attachment I should check out? And with all that being said, guys, I will see you in the next shotgun video.
Hostile UAV overhead.
No, you're trash.
Only
So.
25 left. Keep up the good work.